We did not go to college because we was too busy trying to figure out how to pay for lunch because our daddies was in prison.
Hey beautiful people, how you all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. How have you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. So today's video is a very interesting video and I'm so here for it. This video is a conversation that has gotten the entire internet talking. So there's a research that has come out and an article that has come out that has showed that the rate of black men that goes to college keeps declining every single year, and that black men are the least men to go to college. And this has struck the conversation that why don't black men go to college? And the entire internet is having a think piece about this. So let me know down in the comment section, do you agree that black men are most likely not to go to college? And why do you think this is? Go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. So in this video, I'm splitting this video into two parts. So in this video, we're going to hear men, especially black men, speak on this, because I feel like it's really interesting to hear black men speak on this, why they feel like all black men don't go to college. More like, unlike black women, that black women are considered more like the most educated demographic so far. So we're going to hear black men respond to this article and this saying that black men don't go to college, their thoughts on this and why they think this is, and then we'll come back and talk more. So the second part will be women one, so you want to watch both parts, okay, which will come after each other. So yeah, so let's go check out this video. Black men respond to this video and then we'll come back and talk more.
Apparently, black men are not attending college, and this is a horrendous trend. The number of black men at four-year colleges has plummeted, and at Howard University, there are as many non-black students as there are black men. Howard is just 19% black men. There's an array of reasons why this is happening, but the number one thing sociologists point to is something they call the belief gap, that a lot of young black men don't believe that they can or should be able to handle college intellectually or financially. Guys, college is a critical part of gaining the intellectual skills you need to get into the middle class. Black women have known for years and years that they need degrees to overcome racism and misogyny and get as far as they can in life, and they have become the most educated demographic in the country. But leaving black men out of that trend means a lot of potential wealth that could go into the black community won't go into the black community, because people who could have become middle-class professionals and intellectuals will not be able to make that leap.
This is why black boys are failing in school and why black men are not going to college. You ready? Okay. Here we go.
Take a look at these four kids. These preschool teachers watched a video of them playing for a 2016 study. The study asked them to press the enter key every time they saw a behavior that could become a potential challenge. But the thing about the study is it's kind of deceptive. There's actually no misbehavior in the video. The kids are actors, and the researchers were using eye tracking software because what they really wanted to know was, when teachers expect misbehavior, who are they watching? The study found that both white and black teachers spent more time gazing at black boys than other children. Black boys make up less than a quarter of the nation's preschoolers, but more than 40% of preschool suspensions. The study's lead researcher told the Washington Post that implicit biases don't begin with black men and police. They begin with black preschoolers and their teachers, if not earlier.
Wow.
And there you have it. Everyone's dropping PhD level thesis think pieces on why black boys are not going to college, when it's very, very simple. Black men, black boys exist in a system where everyone and everything is designed to make them fail. You saw that in the longer documentary. Someone sent this to me. Thank you very much, by the way. It's because of the video I posted. Thank you for the person to the person who sent this. As you saw in the longer video, right? Which in the longer video, I remember seeing the longer one, the boy was penalized. The black boy was penalized. So imagine living in a system, existing in a system, in a society, in a classroom where your everything is when the boy is playing, doing the exact same thing that every other child is doing, he gets penalized for it. This is the real world. So by the time these young black boys get to middle school, school is not as fun as it is for everybody else, because for them it is a place of antagonism. Once they get there, even without doing anything wrong, they are always wrong. By the time they get to high school, that's why a lot of black boys drop out of school, because the entire The reason everyone's giving think pieces, no one wants to acknowledge this, is because we'll talk about psychology. If we acknowledge the psychology of the things done to the black boy that evolves into the black man, that means we get to excuse the black man for what he has become. And we cannot excuse the black man for what he has become. The black man has to be responsible for his own trauma. He has to be responsible for what he became. So we will never acknowledge what has happened, what happens to the kindergarten level black boy that makes him refuse to see school as something positive, because he has no positive experiences with it. And that is why black men are not enrolling in college.
Know why we need to have this drawn out conversation. We play the short game instead of the long game. We be trying to put some money in our pocket, and it's really that simple. Especially if you come from a situation where you ain't never had nothing. The only thing you can think about in high school graduation is, how do I put some money in my pocket? And a lot of us do not be seeing the long-term investment of college. College is just a foundation builder. Sometimes you build a skyscraper, sometimes you don't. End of the day, we be like, what's the quickest way for me to put some money in my pocket? It might be that dead-end job. It might be being in the streets. It might be doing the blue-collar work, going to trade school. I know y'all don't like to hear this, but going to the military, just doing something so I am not broke. I think a lot of young men can share the fear of, I don't ever want to be broke. I don't want to be a bum. So what do? What's the quick fix? What's the short-term goal? Let me go get a job. All due respect, I really don't want to hear a certain gender come in this comment section and talk about, well, my parents didn't have anything. I grew up in poverty too. With all due respect, we already know there's a different societal pressure on men when it comes to money. It's literally that simple. I'm not here to tussle.
Simply talking about the fact that black men are not attending college is not enough. We need to be talking about the why. One of the biggest reasons why is a lack of representation. In all my years of going to school, I have only been taught by one black man, and that was not until I was in my master's program. And to be honest, that was the first time that I sat in a classroom, not because I had to, but because I actually thought that I was learning something in his class. What society has glorified is black men being successful as rappers and as athletes. And if I'm being honest, if I didn't suck so bad at both of those things, maybe that would have been my end goal as well. But I'm terribly untalented in both those areas and knew that I had to go to school. The education field is saturated with women. And while it is still not always guaranteed that you will see a black woman as an educator in a classroom, it is still more likely that you will see a black woman than you will a black man. So when you're not seeing anybody that looks like you stand in front of you and teach you, you're probably less likely to pursue a college level education. Now that we know the data, we need to start doing more and getting more creative about how we can get black men in front of children as educators.
We did not go to college because we was too busy trying to figure out how to pay for lunch, because our daddies was in prison, because y'all kept putting shit in the street to make sure they went to prison so that we could not afford lunch, so that we therefore could not afford college. So if you would please shut the fuck up, worried about why we didn't go to college. Thank you.
This is a horrendous trend. The number of black men at four-year colleges has plummeted.
Understand is that black boys aren't in college because black boys are dead. For every other racial group, and you can break it down by gender, black girls, white boys, white girls, Hispanic boys, Hispanic girls, Asian boys, Asian girls, the leading cause of death is unintentional accident. It's like a car accident. The only group of people where the leading cause of death for a teenager is homicide is for a black boy. Black boys are being murdered. Ooh. That's what I need people to understand first. Black boys are being murdered so they can't go to college because they're dead. 2, black boys are in jail. When black boys commit the same crimes, or when black boys commit the same behavior as every other group of students, even if they commit the same behaviors as black girls, they are the most likely to be incarcerated, to be convicted, to be arrested, to be detained, to be given the longest prison system, and to be suspended and removed from their classroom. And what What I need people to understand is that most of us have committed a crime that we can go to jail for or that we could be suspended for. It just hasn't happened to you. Lastly, the third reason they're not in college is because y'all cannot raise black boys, or you willfully choose not to raise them. I've seen so many parents that are so focused on making sure that their black boy is the strongest, hardest man that can fend for themselves that they don't show up for them. They don't give them support. They're not emotionally available for them. They're not making sure that they have the tools that they need to succeed. They're just sending them out into the world, hoping they figure it out. And I talk to my friends that are teachers. My friend that's a teacher in Atlanta, she said to me that she realizes that they treat black boys more harshly because they feel like they can't relate to them. So even when a black boy just does something as simple as asks a question, they're more likely to see it as an infraction and come down hard on him because they think black boys are more inclined to be troublemakers and they can't relate to them. So black boys are not getting the same help in the classroom even when their teachers are black.
Before you comment, make sure you watch the whole video and comprehend what I'm saying, because I'm about to talk to the men and the women, all right?
Okay.
Please. So the conversation about black men not going to college has sparked the conversation as to why. And some people are saying it's because the lack of mentorship by black men to young black boys. And that I can agree with. Like, I agree that black men should, be showing young black boys the way and being positive role models. Me, myself, I have 3 little brothers. I like to think that I'm a positive role model to them. If you ask them, I'm sure they'll agree. Like, I have always pushed education to them. I've never pushed sports. Like, I know some people like to be like, black boys care more about being sports and entertainers than they do about getting education. I've never pushed sports to them. Like, matter of fact, I encourage them not to play football and shit like that. But anyways, I've always pushed education, extracurricular, like music. Like, I share a story about my little brother on here, wanted to quit orchestra, all the things, right? The twins are going to college in the fall. One's thinking about engineering, the other one is undecided at the moment. So I can back it up that I'm out here, doing the work as best I can. The other side of that, however, is the women. I want to know, how is it that y'all know what men would like make good mentors to these young black boys, but you don't seem to know. I know y'all gonna come in my comments and talk crazy, but y'all don't know what men to have kids with. How does that work? Because it's 2 sides to every coin, right? I'm not letting the men off the hook by any means here. Like, you need to be handling your business. If you're a black man, you have a black child out here, you need to be a positive role model to that black child and pushing education, trades, going to the military. You need to be pushing them to be productive members of society, right? But the women, y'all got to choose better.
What?
I feel like that's fair to say, and I know y'all gonna be upset in the comments, but let's be real here. Y'all are choosing the wrong men. Like, I need y'all to talk to the women as well. Start choosing better. All right? I know y'all gonna focus on the women part, but I literally talked to both men and women in this video.
I think the biggest thing that's being not talked about with this whole black men not in college conversation, a lot that's getting lost is, because I hear a lot of back and forth from the black men, right? It's just funny how when we talk about accountability, once we start talking about accountability with us, then y'all don't want to hear it. We're so logical, but then we start talking about numbers, directed at us, and now we got to have nuance and, all this understanding and empathy. Like, bro, we have... Yes, college does not, and I used to be one of those guys that was like, you don't need college. No, you don't need college, but the conversation needs to be, instead of saying college is, all these people with college degrees and they don't, they're not making all this money. Like, instead of saying that, why not use the focus to actually highlight the college degrees that go into career fields that actually have high return in investments, right? Y'all hear me talk all the time about supply chain, and that's a career path that nobody ever talks about. But you can make plenty of money in this. Like, let's talk about the solutions, bro. Of course, it doesn't guarantee. No, nothing in life is guaranteed. But how all the statistics show that one of the best ways to get upward mobility, to have a chance at this shit, is education. If we not talk, don't even talk. We like keep bringing up trades and we ain't talking about military and trades right now, because even military gets you so far. That's why I'm in school right now, because my job career path, I can only, if I want to break that 120, 130 cap, I need that check in the box, bro. I need that degree. In order for me to get the upward management without knowing anybody or having some great connection, I'm going to need that degree. But since y'all want to keep throwing trades out, even trades, black men still aren't doing that. Only about 6% of construction trades, so that's HVAC, electrician, all those, building type trades, black men only make up 6% of that. And we have the highest drop rate of, dropping out of trade school. Well, not finishing. It also include the stats are around the same for industrial trades, service trades, and motor power trades. We also have the highest rate of not participating in the labor force. So even if you want to talk about trades, we ain't doing that shit either as a collective. And notice I'm saying we, because I'm a black man too. So maybe we need to get out of our feelings and talk about the problem so we can address it and provide solutions, bro. Because all I hear is a bunch of reasons why you can't do it versus it can be an option on the table, and how and what we need to do to make it a valuable option for us and work for us. How do we get black men into architecture? How do we get black men into STEMs, supply chain, the medical field, and other things like that in mass, so that we can be more represented in that demographic, which is college? Because most black men don't even put that on the table, because they can't even think that, they don't even think they can do it. So they don't even consider it. Because look at the rhetoric that y'all are putting out there now in this conversation. Well, black women go to college. Why do y'all got to point to them? Stop comparing us to them.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. I'd love to know what you think about this conversation about black men. The rate of black men not going to college is high. The men's reaction to this. I'm going to do the women's reaction, which will be the next video after this one. But let me know what you think about this conversation. What's your own think piece about this? But please be respectful. You're on this channel. We're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a very respectful way. So go ahead, feel free, share your thought. Okay, we're just here to have conversation. We don't tussle yet, just here to have conversation. Okay, so let's be respectful. It's really interesting that this is the thing, like, especially in the US, because I'm going to say, it seems like the rate of black men dropping out of college is high, or not going to college at all is high. And I've heard a lot of, I decided to keep it this way, but I've heard a lot of think pieces about this coming from different point of view, which I feel like everybody's point of view is valid. It's not, I feel like it's not just one factor that plays in that role of why black men are not going to college, unlike black women. And there's something I've always talked about here on this channel, talking about as a black person. And a lot of time people will say, oh, I always talk about race. I always allow race sometimes to affect some type of factor in life. But the truth is that it does. And when it comes to race, it always seems like it's a big factor when it comes to all over the world. It is a big factor, but especially in the society of the US, it's a huge factor in it. And I can understand why a lot of black men, the role model, sometimes the things you see sometimes navigate how you move life. The things like from Nigeria, where I grew up, going to school, you call it college, going to the university is very, very important. It's very, very, it's an important that if you don't go to school, there's this shame that comes with it in my society. So I feel like that's also another thing that made and pushed a lot of people to go to school. There is this, if you're not a graduate, there's this thing they do in Nigeria, the NYC. If you don't serve, that means you didn't graduate. So there's this thing that you see almost everybody, and that's why people will say, oh, Nigerians are very educated and all that. But a lot of the time is because what we've seen repeatedly, it's almost like a stigma when you are an illiterate. In fact, if you don't go to university, you're an illiterate in Nigeria. They just consider you that, oh, this one did not go to school. And society will love you, and the amount of opportunities you're going to have in society is going to be so limited. Yes, I've seen people that didn't go to school make a success out of life of it, do a fantastic business trade out of it. But in the society I live in, which I will always refer to in this conversation, is that is a thing of shame. But I also understand when it comes to the black community in the US, how most of the men, even for me coming from Nigeria and seeing the black community in the US from media, social media and all that, a lot of the time when you see a black successful man, is usually is an athlete, is a rapper, is an artist and all that. I'm not saying they don't have them in other fields, but the percentage of them you having them in other fields is usually really small and all that. Usually it's almost like the entertainment industry is run by the black community in the US, especially that's where a lot of the black men go. Then with sports too, you see them in the basketball, other sports in the US, and it's almost like those sports industry target the black male. So they go and tell them, oh, we'll take you, go to college and all that. So you now see a lot of them, that is what they focus on because that is what they see success is. And it's, in Nigeria, I feel like it's kind of different because I remember when I was much younger and I wanted to do dancing, it wasn't seen like a thing that is a profession. But somewhere like in the US, a black man or a black person can come and say, oh, I want to do dance and it will be supported. So I feel like it also has its pros and its cons, but it's really interesting to see how this is where the conversation is going to. But I also feel like representation is also very, very important. The fact that they don't see a lot of it, and this is not what they see. Their grandfather did not graduate. Their grandmother, their great grandfather, their uncle, they didn't go to college. So there's no that encouragement, and even if those ones is talking to them like, oh, you need to go to college and all that, sometimes I feel like they just look at you like, you that didn't go to college, you're telling me to go to college, why didn't you go to college? So I also feel like another factor that people are not talking about a lot is the fact that going to college in the US is so expensive, and I feel like this is also done to keep black people away from going to school. And I get it, black women are going to school more than black men, but I feel like that's also another factor. And that factor where they also make the black boy or the black male child to be the man of the house because the father is not present. I feel like it's also another toxic thing too that is also affecting black men not going to college because when their fathers are not there, they have to step in as the men, so they have to provide. So their mother is looking up to them to provide and to step up as the man of the house, even though this is a young man that should be focused on college and all that, or focus on trades and all that. And this has led to some of them going to street and just to make ends meet and do what they have to do. So I feel like everything kind of played the classics thing, the cost of college in the US, and I also feel like the environment they are raised also kind of produce why they don't go to college as much as the women. Anyway, guys, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to talk more on this and the next part, which is the women's response to it. But let me know what you think about it and the men's response to this, why this is. So this is very, I like this conversation. I love this conversation. So please let me know your own take down in the comment section. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go on and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button because this helps YouTube to push up my content for more people to see, and that'll be you supporting this channel and this girl here. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.